Welcome to the Prospective Doctor Podcast, brought to you by Med School Coach. Pre-med and medical students alike are encouraged to tune in each week for tips on how to become a strong med school candidate, gain acceptance into the school of your dreams, and succeed on your journey toward residency and becoming a doctor.
Hello, everyone. I'm very excited because we have a special guest today, Dr. Trina Dorrah. I just want to give her an opportunity to tell us a little bit about herself and her journey to medicine.
Hi, my name is Dr. Trina Dorrah. I am an internal medicine hospitalist, and I am also a life coach. And so after finishing residency in internal medicine, I actually got interested in quality improvement as well. And so I ended up doing a fellowship in quality improvement. So now in my day job, I see patients as a hospitalist, I work in quality improvement, and then I've also started doing some life coaching for physicians at work to help with burnout.
Awesome. It sounds like you have a lot on your plate. I want us to take a little step back and go way back when you were deciding on what specialty you would go into and you chose internal medicine. What inspired you to head in that direction?
I just loved everything. And so growing up, I've known I wanted to be a doctor since I was 7. And one of the people who inspired me to be a doctor was my own family physician. So initially I was thinking of going into family medicine. But when I went to medical school, I met a lot of really great internal medicine mentors, and I just fell in love with internal medicine. And even though I liked my other rotations, I didn't like anything as much as internal medicine. And so that was what prompted me to go into it, and I've never regretted it.
That's awesome. And it seems like a lot of doctors that I speak with on the podcast, they'll have something in mind or an inkling. And then when you go into medical school, you have this open mind and you see things and you kind of find your people. So you chose to be a hospitalist. So we have some listeners who are pre-med, so they're not actually in school yet. Can you explain a little bit about what a hospitalist does and how that's different from being in a clinic?
Yes. So a hospitalist is stationed in the hospital. And so I am an internal medicine hospitalist, but there are hospitalists who are family medicine, pediatrics, obstetrics, and even starting to be hospitalists who are other specialties as well. But it basically just means that you are stationed in the hospital. So as an internal medicine hospitalist, whenever the emergency room decides to admit a patient to the hospital, or if a clinic physician wants to directly admit one of their patients to the hospital, they call us, we get them admitted. So during that time that they're in the hospital, we act as their primary physician, and then we call whatever consultants they need, and we take care of them throughout the entire hospitalization. Then when they are discharged, they go back to their regular doctor.
Awesome. Thank you for that explanation. You also mentioned that you obtained a fellowship in quality improvement. How has that extra training assisted you in your career?
Now, I love quality. I think it's so much fun. So I would say it's assisted me in a couple of ways. Number one, health systems are all focused on quality improvement. There are a lot of metrics that the government holds us accountable for. And so it really is a priority of basically anywhere that you're going to work. And so by doing the fellowship, I learned a lot about the methodology of quality and how to actually improve things. And so that allowed me to get the job that I have as medical director of quality where I work. The other way it's really helped me is it's given me a diversity of things to do. So some weeks I'm seeing patients, some weeks I'm in a lot of meetings working on quality improvement, and I really like the combination and balance of the two.
That's awesome. You bring up a good point because medicine is a lifelong career. So of course you're in the hospital and you're seeing patients, and for the listeners out there, for hospitalists, there are different models. So some people work day shifts, some people are nocturnists and they work night shifts, some people work 7 days in a row and then they have 7 days off. Some people work 14 days in a row and have 14 days off. So it just kind of depends on your system and what you sign up for. But sometimes you want to explore other things and use some of your other skill sets. So by obtaining a fellowship in something like quality, which is very important because we want to provide safe quality care to our patients, and there are a lot of different metrics and things that you will learn about that kind of hold healthcare to a standard that we would like to provide to our patients according to guidelines and different things. So with this, Dr. Dorrah was able to become involved in different committees and in quality meetings and things to help make sure that there is a standard across the hospital. So that's quite phenomenal. You also mentioned that you're a coach. How could a medical student benefit from coaching?
Yeah, first let me explain what coaching is. So coaching is different than mentorship. It's different than therapy. So coaches are not, trained professionals in the way that a therapist is or a psychiatrist is. So coaching is a bit different. Does not require going to an advanced degree to become a coach. Also with coaches, we really are forward focused. And what that means is we're taking clients and helping them to realize a better future. One difference between coaching and therapy is therapists and psychiatrists, for example, can work with people who have psychiatric illness. They can work with people who are not functioning well in their life. Whereas coaches really are not trained medical professionals necessarily, even though a lot of physicians are becoming coaches. But we do not work with patients. We don't diagnose psychiatric illness. We don't treat it. We work with clients that are already at a base level of functioning and they just want to make their life better. So one of the common ways that we see coaching helping physicians and medical students is through burnout. So especially the longer people are in the career, the more likely they are to start experiencing effects of burnout. But one place I really think it can help medical students, because most medical students aren't going to be burned out yet, but in mindset. So I remember when I was in medical school, I struggled a lot with confidence. I think most people who become physicians have probably been the smartest person in their class or one of the smartest people in their class their whole lives. Then you get to medical school and you're surrounded by all the other really smart people. And it's a very difficult experience and it can really take a hit on your confidence and your self-esteem. And so I think coaching could really help medical students with the mindset of helping them stay strong, continue to pursue their dreams, and leave medical school with their mental health intact. We know that practicing physicians commit suicide, but there are also some medical students that commit suicide. So we want to be reaching people before they get to that point of hopelessness and giving them tools and skills to really thrive despite the difficult journey of medical school.
Absolutely. That makes a lot of sense. And there's been a lot of talk recently about coaching and how it can help people just kind of come up with that game plan and get through whatever they're going through. And medical school is definitely an interesting journey for everyone, even if they're doing quite well, because it's more about self-discovery and also expanding your knowledge base as well. So there's a lot of trials and tribulations with that.
At Med School Coach, we know that getting into medical school is hard. In fact, 60% of pre-meds who apply to a medical school don't even get accepted. And if you want to get accepted into a top medical school, it's even harder. That's why more students than ever are turning to MCAT tutoring by Med School Coach. Our tutors are all 99th percentile scorers, have been through rigorous training, and can help raise your MCAT score by 12 points or more. You need every competitive advantage you can get to get into med school, so why not get one-on-one tutoring from Med School Coach? Our expert team will create a custom program just for you and help you master MCAT content where you need the help most. You'll raise your MCAT score. We guarantee it. Visit us online at medschoolcoach.com and use offer code PODCAST10 to save 10% up to $400 on a Med School Coach MCAT tutoring package. You can achieve your medical school dreams, and Med School Coach can help.
Also, I would say that there's a coach for everything you could think of. So let's say that you said, well, my mental health is good, but I'm a parent and I need some help with parenting. There's a parenting coach. Or maybe you need help with organization. There's an organization coach. Or you need help with finances. There are money coaches. So there's all different kinds of coaches out there. So I definitely see that a lot of physician coaches help other physicians and residents and med students through the arduous process of becoming a physician. But really, we can always work on ourselves and our life in all areas.
Absolutely. And as you mentioned earlier, a lot of physicians struggle with what they call burnout, whether or not that's the hot word of the week or they're calling it other things as well. But What do you personally do for work-life balance or integration to help keep your mind focused?
So it's definitely gotten a lot better since I learned about coaching. So in addition to being a coach, I have a coach. And so I get weekly coaching, and that has helped tremendously. But then I also have other interests. So I already mentioned to you that coaching, starting a coaching business, which I have, is an outside interest of mine. Quality is an interest. And then I have a family. So that's an outside interest. So it's really helpful for me to have other things that bring me joy, even outside of medicine. I also think even just simple things like taking a walk after I get home from work just to clear my mind, making sure when I'm off, because as a hospitalist, I do have a lot of time off. So making sure that I'm doing things in that time off that bring me joy and make me happy and revitalize me. And so that's been really important for me.
Absolutely. I think you've shared so many interesting things for our listeners to think about, like whether or not they should get a coach, if they should explore more things about quality medicine, if they should explore more things about potentially becoming a hospitalist. For my final question, I would like to know if there was any piece of wisdom that you would like to impart upon our listeners.
Yeah, usually what I say whenever I'm asked this question is I remind people that as long as you don't give up, you will make it through medicine. And that doesn't mean that there's not going to be ups and downs along the way. There might even be failures along the way. Like you might fail a class, you might fail a test, you might have to do something over again. Maybe what you thought you wanted to do didn't work out and you didn't match for residency. But as long as you don't give up and keep pursuing that goal and that dream, then you will make it. I remember whenever I was a medical student, our med school building was right across the courtyard from the hospital. So anytime I'd feel discouraged, I would go sit in the courtyard and watch all the doctors walk by. And so I would just say, okay, if that person and that person and that person and that person, all those people can become doctors, I know that I can too.
That definitely makes a lot of sense because it's definitely a journey and there are those bumps in the roads. And just because one thing doesn't happen to you, another may, or one of your colleagues, you can be of support to them. So it's very good to have that mindset of being able to get through things.
At Med School Coach, we know that matching into the specialty of your choice and the residency program of your dreams has a dramatic impact on your career as a physician. And your USMLE score is the most important acceptance factor of all. That's why more students than ever are turning to Med School Coach for USMLE tutoring. Our tutors are all 260 plus scorers and have been through rigorous training. Plus, the average student who uses Med School Coach tutoring raises their score by 23 to 55 points. There is an enormous amount of material you need to know for Step 1 and Step 2, and Med School Coach can help you be smart about how to study. We'll create a custom program just for you. Then, we'll help you master USMLE concepts where you need help most. You'll raise your USMLE score. We guarantee it. Visit us online at medschoolcoach.com and use offer code PODCAST10 to save 10% up to $400 on a Med School Coach USMLE tutoring package. You can achieve your medical school dreams, and Med School Coach can help.
Just want to say one other thing. There's a coaching phrase that we use, and it's, how is this happening for me? And that has been a really helpful phrase so that even when things don't work out the way I would like them to work out, I do try to think that, okay, how is this happening for me? And so there have definitely been some difficult things in my life, but whenever I think of it more from that perspective, I am able to start seeing, okay, how, even though this may not have been what I wanted, it still is helping to get me to the place that I'm supposed to be on my ultimate journey and my ultimate purpose. Because I think a lot of times we think we know what our purpose is. Like I thought I knew what my purpose was whenever I first decided I wanted to become a physician. I thought I wanted to be a pediatrician at the very beginning. And that's not what my purpose was at all. And so along the way, things have happened, but they've all led me to this point where I am now. And so now that I'm able to look back on it, I realize that it was all leading me in the right direction, but sometimes it's hard to see that in the moment. So that's why I really like that phrase, how is this happening for me?
I love that phrase because that is so true. Like life is full of unexpected events. And sometimes you may think that you may be going in one direction and you may turn into another direction. And it doesn't mean that it's a bad direction. It's just the direction that you're going in, and it might actually end up even better. So It's definitely wonderful to have that kind of mindset.
Yes.
I definitely enjoyed speaking with you today. Do you have any last words for our audience in terms of how to reach out to you if they were interested in any coaching or if they had any questions?
Sure. I have a website. It's Dr. Trina Dorrah. So DrTrinadorrah.com. And so my specialty is self-love and body acceptance, but I also do burnout coaching and general life coaching as well. Although I really do love doing self-love and body acceptance work. And you can also email me at Trina@drtrinadorrah.com if you have any questions. I'm also on Facebook too, Trina Dorrah.
Thank you so much. And for the listeners out there, definitely feel free to reach out. And then for those people who have been standing by me for this past year, it's almost my 1-year anniversary next month. So we'll have a very special episode. Thank you so much. And we'll post a link after these as to what the website is, where you can put special questions or announcements or comments or requests for our 1-year anniversary episode. And you can also reach out to me at Dr. DOCTORD, the letter D, Graham on my Instagram, or at Med School Coach. And let us know if you have any questions or requests or comments. Thank you, listeners out there, and I'll see you again next week. Bye.
Each episode of the Prospective Doctor podcast is brought to you by Med School Coach. To access articles, videos, webinars, and free tools to help you succeed on your journey toward medical school and beyond, visit our website, prospectivedoctor.com. We hope you tune in again next time.